Greetings. Welcome to the stream. I never actually got the cafeteria food. I'd either, like, bring stuff from home or I'd just not eat. I remember when I was in high school, I would, for a while, I would just, like, when I was first in high school, I would show up with, like, a fucking, like, a granola bar or some shit. And, like, eventually I just kind of, like, stopped bothering. And, like, by my, like, second to last year, by my third year of high school, I just, like, wouldn't bring any food to school. Shit was crazy. Just caught another fly. Yeah, I hear that I do hear that like school cafeteria food gets pretty fucked up. Actually, there was one time actually that I did get the school cafeteria food. I was really, really young. I was in like first grade, and like I think I forgot my lunch or something. So I just like I just kind of like awkwardly like shuffled up to the fucking like lunch line or whatever, and I saw a bunch of like you know dates. I saw a bunch of dates on the tray, and I took one thinking that they were just like big raisins. I'm getting grilled cheese. It was 2 soggy pieces of bread with cheese flavored taste. Huh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm willing to bet that some of the stuff that they put in like some of the I'm willing to bet that there's like whatever it is in like cafeteria lunches at school not only is industrial paste, but eating enough of it will probably turn you into industrial paste. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting, yeah. You know something? I have this webcam that I never use for, like, anything. I've only ever used it, like, I don't know, 5 times. I'm thinking about finally putting it to use, by, like, plugging it in, and just, like, I have my little, I have my little Really on my desk. I'm thinking about just setting up a Really on cam. Stuff bland, tastes like the memory of the food it's supposed to be. Yeah. Should probably taste like I don't fucking know. Yeah, yeah. Curious. Interesting. Yeah. Oh shit, I've been live for 7 minutes already. So anyways, a few days ago I found this website that does like AI voice stuff. It's called create.musicify.lol, and I've already made a few I've already made a cover or two that'll definitely bar me from seeing the gates of heaven. Tears of the Kingdom. You know, Tears of the Kingdom seems kind of cool. But like, I don't know. I'm not really sure I'm willing to pay like however much it costs, because it's probably fucking. It's a AAA Nintendo game. It's a Zelda game. I don't think I'm willing to pay however much, and I'm scared to hack my Switch. One of these days I might do it. One of these days I might hack my Switch, and then maybe I'll play it. 70 fucking bucks, Jesus Christ. Oh, wait. And there's like a good chance I'm willing to bet that it's never gonna go on sale, ever. So like, yeah, if I ever get it, it's gonna be through piracy. Because it seems kind of cool. It seems cool, I guess. Like, yeah, it seems like a cool enough game, but like, yo, welcome to the stream. But yeah, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom seems like a cool enough game, but like, I don't know, I really don't think it's worth $70 when I've already, like, got Breath of the Wild on, Switch. And, welcome to the stream to you as well. Oh wait, there's a load button right there. You know something that I hope happens one day? Apparently there's only like a little handful of people who can like crack de novo games. Like one of these days I really hope somebody cracks Project Eva Megamix, because I don't even know if my PC has like I don't even know if my PC is able to like run it well, considering how old it is. And like, I don't want to pay $39. I don't want to pay almost 40 bucks for something that might not even run well on my PC, you know? But also, I hear it's not too difficult to mod, and that intrigues me greatly. Yeah. The world could end and we'd still be wondering how long, we'd still be wondering where the fuck Beatrice is. Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window, as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence, and makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from the moment they're born to the moment they die. Beatrice! You're late, Beatrice. Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen. Oh, come on! There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze. Well then, let us begin. Let us begin our bouquet of miracles. This island has now been cut off from the world. Now there are none who can interrupt my ceremony. There are many fitting sacrifices for you. 4 of my children, 3 of their companions, 4 of my grandchildren, me and my guests and my servants. You may devour as many as you please. The key of fate will select the sacrifices in accordance with the demon's roulette. If that roulette chooses me, even I will become your sacrifice. However, because of that, because I will bet on such madness, I will most assuredly bring forth a grand miracle. Come, devour to your heart's content. I will achieve victory over that roulette. Yes, I'll put everything on the line. First, I'll return the inheritance of the Ushiromiya family. Accept it! Just talking. I don't know. The story seems cool, you know? So, like, you know, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. But I am excited to get to the puzzles. Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring off his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring. And when you are resurrected, surely I will be the one who stands witness. I will survive until the end and watch over you as you awaken. So come, Beatrice. Welcome to my banquet. In exchange for all that I have created, show me another miracle, just this once. Ooh. Oh, Beatrice. I was about to say I think I might have to back up, but I guess not. A news ticker popped up on top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the raindrops beating harshly on the window were even more convincing. This rain's incredible. Still, when it's raining this hard, it also feels like it might stop at any moment. You wish! They said the typhoon's moving slow, so it might be like this all day tomorrow. And even a little bad weather stops the boats from coming. Well, looks like we won't be able to head out on Sunday after all. Just in case, I cleared all outside business for Monday's schedule, and I'm glad I did. Which means looks like we'll get to skip school Monday. Living on an island's starting to sound pretty good. Come to think of it, Jessica, you gotta take a boat to school every day, don't you? What do you do when the boats stop running? Do you stay home when it rains and show up late when the wind's blowing? Like King Kamehameha? Okay. If the boats don't come, I stay home. Still, it's not as good as it sounds. Usually I'm ordered to study by myself, and it's not that fun with someone standing right behind you, watching everything you do. During the rainy season, does the weather ever stay bad for a long time and make you miss a bunch of days in a row? That does happen sometimes. Still, I get a call from my homeroom teacher every single day, who'd sourly guide me on how I should teach myself and what I had to turn in. She can't skip school as easily as you're imagining, Battler-kun. She's got to follow the rules for people that travel to school by boat and get a good amount of studying done. It'd actually be easier to just go to school. In my own room, I get distracted and can't concentrate. After being made to do nothing but workbooks for several days straight, it's pretty hard to handle all that mental stress. When I get into college, I really just want to go to some dorm and quickly say goodbye to this inconvenient island. Okay. By the way, What do you do when the weather's good in the morning, but then gets so bad on your way home that the boats are closed? Do you spend the night at school? That actually happens a lot. Because of that, they built some lodging there for people who can't get back to the island they live on. That's where you'd spend the night. Sometimes, when it gets really bad, you can't go home for a few days at a time. Someone commuting to school or work on a train packed at twice its capacity might carelessly think that commuting by a boat would be pretty interesting and fun, but it sounds like it comes with troubles of its own. You hear thoughtless tourists saying stuff like that all the time. I've had enough of island life. I really want to just graduate high school and say goodbye to this island. But there are all dorm schools, even for high school, right? Why'd you choose that Nijima school of all places? I've wanted to go to one of those from the beginning. But Mom's always going on about how I need to learn manners and discipline as the successor. So I ended up sticking close to home even for high school. Man, I hate this island. I just want to go live in a city. I don't care if rain or even spears fall from the sky, as long as I can move to a city where I can wear casual clothes and sandals, and can get into a convenience store in less than 5 minutes. Hold out just a little longer. Just a bit more and you'll graduate high school, right? I can't wait a little longer. Ah. Jessica stretched out and reclined in the sofa. Maybe it was a bad time slot, because there weren't any interesting programs on, and we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. After that episode, Maria never returned to the cousins' room after all. Aunt Rosa probably took her back to the mansion. It had to be pretty boring for Maria, all by herself while the adults had a confusing conversation. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather really was awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered. Yes? The preparations for dinner are complete. Please come to the mansion. Oh wait, I did do the right voice. Sort of. It was Kanon-kun's voice. Did he go to all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain just to get us? Couldn't he have just called us on the telephone? Well, I guess servants at work didn't always get to take the most efficient route. Just when I was getting hungry. Let's go. George Aniki turned off the television and stood up. My stomach's been growling for a while. I've always been a huge fan of the main family's dinners. Didn't Goda-san say it was calf steak or something? Oh, I can't wait! Yo, welcome to the stream. Our dinners are always even more fabulous than usual when the family conference comes around. Even I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, let's go! As we left the room, Kanon-kun bowed silently and respectfully. Okay, let's go! Is the rain pretty nasty out there? Yes. Can't hear anything. It's not in your house right now. Everyone's talking. I mean, we're kind of just reading this, so I'm not sure if you can hear what I'm saying, but at the moment, I'm kind of just reading the words on the screen, so. Take care not to get your garments wet. After seeing the three of us out, Kanon-kun peered into the empty room. Wasn't Maria-sama with you? No, she's not. Wasn't she with Aunt Rosa? I pray to fucking God that, like, this is where it starts. Become a famous micro-celebrity on TikTok. Scared that you might do something stupid and problematic that'll probably kill all your fame. You know, congratulations on the micro-celebrity status. Just, as for the as for the as for the worry, just uh uh I don't just uh um I try not to think about it, I guess. I don't fucking know, sorry. Um yeah. I eh. Rosa was lying in a sofa on a sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. She was bearing a burden that the children couldn't even imagine. That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little, before the weariness immediately dragged her into the world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. There's a little dog. He's very cute. That's nice. Dogs are nice. You know, when I was a kid, I always I really wanted a dog, but like my mom would always be like, well, if you want a dog, you have to clean up its poop, and that would like immediately like that was like that was an immediate nail in the coffin for me every single fucking time. Yeah. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she'd been shocked with electricity. Ah! Thank you, Genji-san. When she realized that the thing had touched her was just a blanket, and that Genji had been considerately giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief. Did I wake you? My sincere apologies. No, it's okay. I hadn't planned on sleeping in the first place. What time is it now? When he was asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch that he took out of his chest pocket. It is slightly after 6 o'clock. Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed, even though it felt like she'd slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that enveloped her must have been pretty deep. Thank you. I'll be fine without the blanket. I mustn't sleep at such a strange time. My sense of time has been completely thrown off. The rain has finally started pouring down in earnest, hasn't it? Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain. The wind's blowing hard, too. I wonder if the typhoon's finally here. That's what they said on TV. The typhoon is moving slowly, so they think it will be like this all day tomorrow. Really? So, our last chance to see that wonderful rose garden must have already passed by. From the window, what she could see of the rose garden was completely blurred by the wind and rain. Maria. That's right. What about Maria? I haven't seen her. Did she... Oh, I have not seen her. Did she not return to the guest house? Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever. Even in pouring rain. No. The cousins left before I did, so Maria was alone. Unless someone told her to stop, she'd stay there even if it started raining spears. Without even opening an umbrella. How could I have lost control of my emotions and done such a thing? Even though she'd known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone else, She'd once again lost control of her emotions and done something terrible. Maria! Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hall. The outside really looked like a typhoon, and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain. The winds weren't typhoon class, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Even so, it certainly was a windy rain. There was no time to admire the roses being drenched. Anyway, I'm getting pretty worried about Maria. You don't think she's still rebelliously searching for that rose alone, do you? I wonder. Surely she wouldn't do it in this rain. Or at least, I wish I could believe that, but Maria-chan sometimes gets really stubborn and intensely straightforward. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, when Kanon-kun had come from the mansion to call us and thought that Maria was here, I got a little worried. I did not see her in the mansion, so I was sure she was here. After all, Rosa-sama was taking a nap. You didn't see her on your way over here? My apologies. I opened my umbrella and ran as fast as I could, so I did not pay much attention. If he had cut through the rose garden, taking the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have just barely missed the place where Maria had been looking for her rose. And it was raining this hard, too. It certainly would have been possible for Kanon-kun to fail to notice her. Instead of arguing around here, it'd be faster to just check it out directly. Aniki, why don't we race over there? Oh, do you think you can beat me now that you've been growing for 6 years? Okay, let's settle this. Go! George, Aniki, and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Kanon-kun followed us. Maria! If you're there, answer me! Maria! It's Aunt Rosa. Hey, Aunt Rosa! When George Aniki called back, Aunt Rosa jumped at him and grabbed onto him. Where's Maria? Isn't she with you? No, we didn't meet with Maria-chan after that. Maria! 6 years ago, Maria was 3 years old. She was a cute and pure kid who'd just accept whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now, and experiencing the ups and downs of life. Oh, she's 9 now. Experiencing the ups and downs of life should have taught her something. But, Maria, are you telling me you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be? Maria! As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella and still searching for that rose. Her face, which had turned bright red from her crying her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud. It was a truly pitiful sight. Maria! Are you still looking?
Can't find it. Can't find my rose.
Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she wasn't completely soaked. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria always carried around. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness. Butler-kun! Thank goodness you found her! Maria! I'm sorry! I'm so sorry! Aunt Rosa threw her umbrella aside and hugged Maria.
It's not here. My rose isn't here.
I'll look for it with you later, okay? So just put it on hold for today, okay?
Put it on hold for today.
It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Kanon-kun caught up with us. I'll have a towel ready in the mansion immediately. Maria! Were you here this whole time? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being such a bad mother. Aunt Rosa, why don't we head back to the mansion for the time being? If we stay here, Maria will catch a cold. You're right. Maria, let's go. If we don't get you cleaned up, Grandfather will be mad. He'll be mad.
Hungry.
It's already time to eat. You did a good job holding out, Maria. Once the weather gets better, we'll all go search together. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I thought. When she remembered we were having calf steak for dinner, she started chanting,
I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
and returned to her usual spirited self. Aunt Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying, I see. So she had an umbrella on her. Maria sure is good at packing the right stuff.
I didn't bring an umbrella.
What? And how'd you get that white umbrella you're holding?
I borrowed it.
Some caring person must have brought her an umbrella. A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter, and decided to at least give her an umbrella. I see. I'll have to thank that person. Who was it?
Beatrice!
Yes!
Beatrice!
The name Maria cheerily mentioned was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that wouldn't damage Maria's good mood. Really? That's wonderful. So, who was it? Who brought you that umbrella?
Beatrice!
I don't fucking know.
Beatrice?
I don't fucking know. Maria immediately realized that her mother didn't believe her, and started crying out unhappily again. So Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It'd probably be faster to ask whoever lent Maria the umbrella during dinner, rather than ask Maria herself. We're so close! We're so close, Rose! Maria... Beatrice is close! I'm sure of it! I'm fucking sure of it! We're almost there! Father, please at least join us for dinner. It won't be a family conference otherwise. Along with a dull pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty should be heard. Oh wait, that's Krause, so it'd be... Father, please at least join us for dinner. It won't be a family conference otherwise. However, that voice seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would be heard. Kinzo-san, won't you at least come out for dinner? All your children have gathered here to see your face, haven't they? Silence, Nanjo. So, the bishop won't work. One move too short. Apparently, Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. Kinzo's brow was wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears. Kinzo-san, I'm hungry myself. Why don't we go down and eat? Go by yourself if that's what you want. Let me consider this next move for a little longer. We are going to finish it tonight. Otherwise, it's doubtful we'll finish before the world ends. Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. He knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess, but he'd never seen Kinzo concentrate as hard as this. It was almost as though Kinzo was telling the truth, and there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. It seemed that, no matter how obstinately he called out to Kinzo, it wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and and headed to the door that Kraus was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Kraus was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kinzo was actually coming out. However, Nanjo was the one that appeared, and Kraus let out a sigh of relief. Dr. Nanjo, his father... I'm sorry I couldn't be of service. Right now, this room is Kinzo-san's whole world. Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Kraus raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting, Father, can you hear me? We're heading down now, but please join us any time you feel like it. All of your children are waiting for you. His voice was very loud, and he was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. Well, it certainly was reaching him, but he ignored it anyway. However, unlike the time he had been called down for lunch, he didn't fly into a rage. By now, Kinzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to fate. Neither dinner nor the faces of my children interest me in the slightest. I will only leave here if Beatrice is resurrected, or if I am chosen as a sacrifice for the key. The demon's roulette has already started spinning. What meaning does dinner have at this point? As though the painfully loud bang on the door completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinzo silently thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. Just as always, Kinzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Kraus, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Nanjo. Father says he still is not feeling well. He truly regrets missing this once-a-year opportunity to sit together with his gathered family. Eva and Rudolph. Yeah. That's a real word. That is a real word. It's like laughing. But, I'm just not going to bother. Given Kinzo's personality, there was no way he'd show signs of regret, and none of his relatives showed any regret at his absence. Then, why don't we start dinner? Goda, begin. Certainly. Well then, if you will allow me. When Goda was told to start the family conference dinner, his biggest time to shine of the whole year, he nodded with a broad grin. May I ask who lent Maria an umbrella? Who lent Maria an umbrella? Who lent Maria an umbrella? When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everyone noticed. An umbrella? What's this about? A short while back, Maria was in the rose garden when it started raining, and she apparently borrowed a white umbrella from someone. I wanted to thank them. It wasn't one of us. After you left, we moved to a different room and had a friendly chat that whole time. Haha, that's right. Even after that, the siblings had a real friendly chat. The word friendly fell awkwardly from Hideyoshi's lips. So even those who hadn't been present could tell the conversation hadn't been a pleasant one. At the very least, it couldn't have been me, Eva, Rudolph, Hideyoshi-san, or Kairi-san. We were together the whole time, even after Natsuhine-san and Rosa-san left. The whole time until the meal started. Nii-san went up to the study with Genji-san to call father. At that time, the rest of us went straight to the dining hall. So it wasn't one of us. Couldn't it have been a servant kind enough to lend an umbrella? So, was it you, Goda-san? I have been in the kitchen the whole time, preparing. My sincere apologies. Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing this chance to show off. At that time, Shannon Kumasawa appeared, pushing a serving cart loaded with hors d'oeuvres. I don't fucking know. French words, horse divorce. Then what about Kumasawa-san and Shannon-chan?
Yes?
Has something gone wrong? Because Shannon had come in part way, she shrank back, mistakenly thinking that others were searching for the one responsible for some error. It isn't like that. It started to rain when Maria-chan was alone in the rose garden. After that, someone lent her an umbrella. Aunt Rosa said she wanted to thank that person.
Beatrice!
Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. Aunt Rosa explained the situation one more time. As she did, Kumasawa-san cackled. Oh, it wasn't us. Shannon-san and I were preparing the rooms together, so we did not go outside.
Yes. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be of assistance.
Preparing the rooms? What do you mean by that?
Because of the rain, we thought it would be troublesome for all the guests to return to the guest house, so the servants were to prepare the guest rooms inside the mansion.
Really? How thoughtful! Yes, it certainly would be rude to chase us outside in this rain. Could you give it a rest?
Yes. After receiving the order from Madam, Kumasawa-san, Kanon-kun, and I started preparing the rooms. Then it became time for dinner, so Genji-sama ordered Kanon-kun to go to the guest house and summon the children.
Yes. So, did Kanon-san find Marie on the way to the guest house and hand her the umbrella?
Wrong!
The person who had actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who had lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find them. And she thought asking like this with everyone gathered for dinner would work immediately. Sky Fugel spot in the Black Forest, Germany. Did you summon Apocalypse Bird again? Godspeed, yo. Good fucking luck. Yeah. May God have mercy on your soul. Or White Knight or whatever. Wait, what? Then what the fuck are you fighting? Game refused to give Big Bird, damn. So is it like... Oh wait, are you fighting the fetus? Are you fighting, fucking, what's it called? White Knight? Yeah. Is it White Knight? I mean, if you know something, actually, if you want to, uh, if you get, nothing there, and you have it escape, and you, like, lure it to the, if you lure it to the central command room while it's, like, full upgrade, like the middle room, the really, really big room in the middle, if you lure it there, you can just kind of like you can just kind of call R-Corp. You can just rabbit protocol, and I'm pretty sure that counts. And like that should suppress it. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, good luck, yo. yeah, that's right. Silent Orchestra also exists, I guess. Yeah, Blue Star fucking sucks. It's fucking Sans Undertale. Piece of shit star. Yeah, I'd say that just using our protocol with nothing there might be your best bet. I've never actually fought Army in Black.
Then, was it you, Natsuhine-san? I'm sorry. After everyone's friendly chat, my headache was so bad that I've been resting in my room.
Yeah, the fucking Blue Star fucking sucks piss dick shit. God. It's easy to work with though. Yeah, suppressing Blue Star sucks so much fucking ball. Therefore, I did not go outside.
Then, who was it? George-kun and the kids? That can't be right. No, it wasn't us. We were watching television in the guest house the whole time. Actually, we thought Maria had just gone back to the mansion with you.
Then Kanon-kun came, and he asked whether Maria was with us. That's when we first realized she wasn't in the mansion. I mean, if it were me, I'd have grabbed her hand and pulled her under a roof before giving her an umbrella. Rosa was completely baffled. One by one, the relatives and the servants denied that they had done it, even though it really wasn't something anyone would need to hide. So, by process of elimination, the number of remaining candidates wasn't that large. Of course, it wasn't me. Right after it began raining, I visited Kinzo-san's room, and I was playing chess with him until just now.
Which means that it also wasn't grandfather.
Wait a sec. Isn't it starting to get a bit weird? Who's left?
Then,
who was it? It was Beatrice! Fucking listen to your daughter, woman! It's the witch! It's the witch!
Genji-san?
Huh?
Wait a second. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm searching for some culprit or anything. All I want to do is, as a mother, thank the person who gave Maria an umbrella in the middle of the rain.
Giving an umbrella to a girl loitering in the rain was something to be praised, not hidden. Despite that, no one raised their hand. Why not? Everyone started whispering about how strange this was getting. Calm down, Rosa. Why don't we just ask the person who was lent the umbrella? That's what everyone had been thinking since the beginning. They were all scratching their heads at why she didn't just ask Maria, who had been given the umbrella. However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew how Maria would answer if asked. Of course! Rudolph Kuhn here's got it right. Maria-chan, tell your uncle. Who lent you the umbrella?
Beatrice!
The dining hall was wrapped in silence for an instant, but was soon interrupted by a burst of laughter. Stop fucking laughing! Stop fucking laughing! Fuck all of you! I see. So Beatrice, the witch of the forest, felt pity and lent her an umbrella. What a lovely story. Rosa, there you have it. Rosa couldn't believe it. Even though she just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella. Why did everything have to be so clouded in smoke?
Just like Uncle Kraus said. Beatrice let me borrow it.
Isn't that wonderful? We should all be jealous of such purity. What do you think, everyone? Kraus was laughing with a face that was clearly mocking, but Maria was overjoyed, apparently convinced that her claim was being believed. How did that work? Does that mean a witch really appeared and lent her an umbrella? Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over Maria, who was sitting across from me. Has Maria ever been the type to make jokes? If we'd heard that kind of story pop out of my old bastard's mouth, we would have just taken it as another joke. However, it was hard to explain it away like that when Maria said it. This was getting pretty unnerving. No way. She's always been frank and serious. She's the sort who'd believe any joke, even ones normal people could instantly tell were lies. Never even heard of her cracking a joke. Aunt Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. It appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore. So, if Maria says she borrowed an umbrella from Beatrice, that must mean it really was Beatrice? We're talking about Maria here, so I can't think of it as some kind of metaphor or joke. It might be best to take what she says at face value. Then, what's going on? Are you saying Genji-san or someone put on that fancy dress from the portrait and gave Maria the umbrella? I'm not sure about that. Actually, that's what I want to know. Jessica shrugged jokingly, but her expression didn't completely match her attitude. Once the hors d'oeuvres were set out and Goda showed off his vast store of knowledge, the meal began. A couple casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant. And the meal ended up being so quiet you couldn't ignore the sound of the rain sneaking into the dining hall. It's real! It's for serious, bro! It's for real. It's for real. It's for serious. Kumasawa and Shannon, pushing the serving cart, ran into Genji and Kanon on their way to the kitchen. Yeah. Like, bro, it's real, bro. Look. Bro, like, bro, it's real, bro. Look, I have this fucking tripod from my granddad, right? I have this fucking I have this thing. I have this memory card. If you look on it, bro, there's a blurry picture of a person. There's a blurry humanoid-looking person. That's real proof. It's real proof that witches exist. You can't deny it. It's a blurry humanoid figure. There's no way around it. Witches are real. Bro, I called the Among Us imposter at 3 a.m. Oh, it's Genji-san. Did you lend Maria-san an umbrella? An umbrella? What are you talking about? Well, I heard that when it started raining, Maria-sama was alone in the rose garden. It seems she borrowed an umbrella from someone there. But we don't know who it was. It wasn't me. After all, I actually thought Maria-sama was in the guest house. When Battler-sama first found her, she was already holding a white umbrella. My apologies, but it was not me either. Then, could it actually be the master? Both in the dining hall and right here. Everyone instated that they hadn't done it. That left only Kinzo, but maybe he went walking down the corridor for some reason. When he just happened to see Maria-sama in the rose garden without even an umbrella. But what wasn't the family doctor like playing chess with him the whole time? The master is not particularly fond of Maria-sama. I agree. I can't imagine that, for Maria-sama's sake, he'd go to all of the trouble of descending the stairs with an umbrella. Oh my, how troublesome. Does that mean the one who lent Maria-sama an umbrella really was Beatrice-sama? Ho 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 ho. Kumasawa laughed,
just like the relatives in the dining hall who had laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break through the smoke veiling the current situation. Just then, the crisp sound of hands clapping twice rang through the hallway. They all turned around at once to see Goda coming out of the dining hall.
Okay, everyone. When serving a dinner, proper timing while setting the table is essential. Please immediately see to setting out the soup. Genji-san, the women are in the middle of an important job, so please don't get in their way.
Kanon glared at Goda for being rude to Genji, a person Kanon respected. Genji, realizing this, patted Kanon once on the shoulder as a warning. Kanon reluctantly turned away and turned his expression to normal. Returned. Fuck.
Obey Goda's instructions. Hurry and prepare the dinner table. Come now, there's no time. Don't dawdle. Hurry!
Goda grabbed the serving cart from Shannon and steadily pushed it towards the kitchen.
Then please allow us to return to the kitchen. After all, Goda-san's temper is very short.
Please excuse me as well.
Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanon remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt.
Genji-sama, did Beatrice-sama really return?
I don't know.
Shall I inform the master?
That is not necessary. If she truly has returned, she will eventually appear before the master of her own accord. Furthermore, she is a fickle person. It would be pointless to report her to the master, only to find that she does not appear.
I wonder if this means the master's ceremony has already begun.
Probably. However, that has nothing to do with furniture like us. We must continue to return the favor we received from the master, until our final moments.
Yes. That is furniture's duty.
The thunder crashed once more. Except for those instants when lightning lit up the sky, nothing could be seen out the window but the darkness of night. Just as humans rule when the sun is up, those that are not human rule when the sun is down. The darkness of night that now surrounded Rokkenjima was ruled by another master, not the Ushiromiya family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella? Kanon looked at the rose garden's lights, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights weren't enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Yeah, it is weird seeing people call themselves furniture, you know? I guess it's just not something that you, like, see people do often. You don't often see people dehumanize themselves like that, you know? Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanon forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by that light. Can the weather change how people act? You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. For some time now, everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere, but any conversation was quickly cut off, and in the end, the dining hall was simply filled by the sound of the rain. I'm gonna go take a piss really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake accompanied by pear sorbet. Or sherbet, I don't know. I forget which one is which. French is weird. Goda-san enthusiastically explained the recipe as soon as this final dish was presented. But I quickly forgot the details. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent. The weather was horrible, and the identity of the one who lent Maria an umbrella remained a mystery. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of a meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. Goda-san, the supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner, did his best to enliven the place, dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently none of them succeeded. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. As soon as he appeared, Uncle Kraus spoke. My, what a waste that the dinner Goda worked so hard to create has met with such a gloomy atmosphere.
Yes, absolutely. It just feels like nothing would taste good today.
Huh. I'd like to know why you feel that way. Later on, I'll do all I can as your older brother to help cheer you up. Aunt Eva grimaced slightly. I'd already heard she wasn't on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. When I looked around, I noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also grimacing. Apparently, there was something besides the weather troubling all of them. Both Aunt Eva and my dad aren't looking too happy.
Really? I don't think so.
I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She snapped back as if to say she was absolutely not interesting. Well, our adult conversation got a little complicated. It isn't something kids like you need to worry about, Balor-kun. Isn't that right, Natsuhi-san, Kairi-san? Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness, so I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversation had become. Yeah, Beatrice she gave her the umbrella because witches are for real, bro! Only believers get umbrella. Only true believers. My child will deny the existence of witches. My child will like and share. On top of that, even Aunt Natsuhi and Kairi-san, the people he had directed his comment to, ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they'd been having while us kids were away, but it reminded me of how Dad said he had stomach cramps when we arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have been a playful reunion to us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi's comment was ignored by the other adults, an awkward silence fell over the room, and Kairi-san spoke up.
We were talking about how the kids' careers would turn out. Such is what lies in your future, Balor-kun. You just drift on to college. Wouldn't that be a little disheartening in starting a line for the long race of life?
Hey, wait a sec. Kairi-san, if you start talking about something like that in the middle of a meal, it won't digest well, and we'll all end up getting constipated. That's right! We were talking about Balor-kun's and Jessica-chan's careers! You gotta think seriously about the future! Hideyoshi heartily agreed, as if they had really been talking about that. But that was probably wrong. Kairi-san had been obviously trying to change the subject. However, if Kairi-san determined that this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking this into account, I cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Aunt Eva and Dad's bad moods. At long last, the servant cart returned, filled with coffee and tea. Kumasawa-san and Shannon-chan served it to everyone. Goda-san then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner in my life. It was a shame to see the best of dinners couldn't have been had in the best conditions. God fuck. Where the fuck is Beatrice?
George, Oni-chan! Is dinner over now? Over?
Yes. With this, dinner is finished. Don't be rude. Stay in your seats and calmly drink up. Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasionally crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter sort. Therefore, when she heard from George Aniki that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. She then rose from her seat, took out her handbag, which she'd set under her seat, never having left it even while she was eating, and began fishing around inside it. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior. What's that? Where did you get it? George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Bat noticed too. They saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Ushinomiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it was sealed with a dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have brought as a prank.
Maria-chan, what is that?
It seemed that Natsuhi had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voice sounded too serious for someone admonishing a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too. What happened, Natsuhi-san? Ne-san? What is that? Maria, where did you pick that up? That envelope has Kinzo-san's. When Nanjo muttered that, even us kids could understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria held was one of the Ushinomiya family head's custom-made envelopes for private use. In other words, it could only mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo. Huh. What is an envelope like that doing here? Now that's an interesting thing to come jumping out at us. Just let me have a peek.
No way, I'll read it. I was told to read it to everyone.
Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out from Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go. It's Beatrice time! It's Beatrice time! Real! Hideyoshi-san, you can't use force against a child. Maria-chan, where did you get this envelope?
I got it from Beatrice when she gave me the umbrella. She told me to read it to everyone after the meal was over. I'm the witch's messenger.
Messenger? The almighty witch of the island sure likes to mess around. Battler tried to joke about it, but no one laughed. Wait, wasn't... Wait. Why did they refer to Battler in third person? Huh? I wonder what's written inside of it, Maria-chan.
Gonna read it.
Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the sealing wax to open it. That sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He then set it in the center of the table, where Natsuhi, Kairi, and Nanjo stared at it. Imprinted in the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ushinomiya family crest, and also Kinzo's personal crest. This is the family head's personal crest. I know it from the letters I have received from Kinzo-san before, Without a doubt, this is his wax seal.
But aren't there several things in this mansion bearing that crest? For example, if there was some kind of stamp for wax seals, couldn't someone other than Kinzo-san have used it?
No, Kinzo-san would always use a ring on his finger, his proof of the Ushinomiya family headship, when he sealed the wax. This shape and complex design is definitely Kinzo-san's seal. That is not necessarily so. Anyone in the family must have received a letter from father at least once. We can't eliminate the possibility that someone used that wax as a model to create a fake seal and pass themselves off as father. I agree with Aniki. No matter how much the seal resembles Dad's, we can't prove it's the real thing. So it doesn't prove this envelope came from him.
I absolutely agree. I cannot approve of arbitrarily deciding that this letter came from father, based solely on the wax seal. Dr. Nanjo, couldn't you use a bit more discretion with your vague words?
I apologize. It was not my place to speak.
One after another, all the siblings from Kraus on downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kinzo. They were afraid. They feared from the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intentions were written in there, and that it might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable to them. Maria, the person who gave you that envelope was the same person that lent you that umbrella, right? I don't know what means. Is it true? Yes. So, in other words, the witch, Beatrice, gave Maria-chan that envelope along with the umbrella? Maria nodded forcefully. I agree with my husband. It's a dubious letter handed over by some suspicious person. It isn't even worth reading. There's nothing wrong with just reading it, right? Battler said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but Natsuhi heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes. Read it! Read it, you assholes! Fucking do it! Do it! Fucking do it! And then, Beatrice told you to read it after the meal was over, right, Maria? It's okay, everyone. This envelope didn't come from Grandfather, but from Beatrice. Regardless of who actually wrote it, why can't we just hear what's inside before we decide?
That's right. Even if Father didn't necessarily write it, I'd still like to know what's written inside. Maria-chan, I'm sorry I tried to take it from you by force earlier. I apologize, so will you read it aloud in front of everyone?
Maria, read it. As all the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a rustle.
Do you think it really did come from Dad? Impossible. Whenever Father has announced something to us in the past, he would always send Genji if he didn't do it correctly. Oh, if he didn't do it directly, correct? I cannot believe that he would use such a joke-like approach.
That's right. Maria, a messenger. That definitely doesn't suit Father's tastes. Rosa, could this be Maria-chan trying to...
Fucking... When did she read the letter?
Could this be Maria-chan trying to surprise us by putting on some kind of show? Maria isn't really a kid who'd be capable of something so thoughtful. Read the fucking letter. Gonna read it. The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason, her voice seemed different than usual. Everyone went suddenly silent.
Here we fucking go!
Welcome to Rockinjima, members of the Ushinomiya family. I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family, employed by Kinzo-sama himself.
That's crazy!
Quiet! I have served him for many years in accordance with our contract, but on this day, Kinzo-sama has announced the final suspension of that contract. Therefore, I ask that you acknowledge my resignation from the position of family alchemist from this day forth.
How foolish. What nonsense.
I can't stand to listen to it.
Let her cook! God's sake.
And now there is one part of the contract that must be explained to all present. I, Beatrice, lent Kinzo-sama a vast quantity of gold under certain terms. One of these terms specifies that all the gold is to be returned to me upon the termination of the contract. Furthermore, I am to receive everything of the Ushinomiya family as interest.
Ridiculous! It's been ridiculous from the very beginning. So, it's basically one of those things, right? Doesn't sound just like one of those contracts with the devil. The contract's expired, so they've come to collect the interest. She's trying to grab some retirement money for her old age or something? What a cheeky witch.
Battler-kun, now isn't the time to joke around.
Battler made a face as if to ask, if I can't make fun of this, what can I make fun of? Why do they keep referring to Battler in third person? I thought he was the narrator. Why are they referring to him in third person? Why is it suddenly in the third person? Is he no longer the narrator? Some of the adults' faces were pale, while others looked dazed.
After hearing this, you may feel as though Kinzo-sama has been savagely ruthless. However, Kinzo-sama did append a special clause to the contract, so that you would have a chance to preserve your wealth and honor. If and only if that special clause is fulfilled, I will lose my rights to the gold and the interest for all eternity.
A special clause? Hang on. A special clause? What is it?
Special clause. Beatrice retains the right to collect the gold and accumulate interest upon the termination of the contract. However, if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of this contract, Beatrice must abandon these rights for all time. The collection of interest will proceed shortly, but if any one of you fulfills the terms of this special clause, I shall return everything, including the portion that has already been collected. Furthermore, as the first step in this collection of Kinzo-sama's debt, I have taken possession of the Ushinomiya family's Ushinomiya family head's ring, which signifies the passage of the Ushinomiya family headship from one individual to another. I ask that you confirm this for yourselves by examining the imprint on the wax seal.
Are they trying to claim that that's the meaning behind this seal? That father would relinquish his ring is unthinkable. Kraus stared at the sealing wax as if trying to burn a hole through it. Eva and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder. Come to think of it, when we were playing chess, I did have a strange feeling that something was missing from Kizo-san's finger.
Dr. Nanjo! Don't say something so careless just because of a vague memory!
We can't prove its authenticity here. Only by asking Father directly can we determine whether he really handed this over his ring, and whether this letter tells the truth. That's right. It's just as Kairi-san says. Do you really think Kinzo-san will tell you? After all, that person's thoughts sometimes surpass the bounds of common sense. No matter what happens, it's still nonsense. In the first place, the illusion of gold itself is one of Father's tricks. I've already heard enough talk of that gold from the rest of you. But this is the witch speaking, right? About how the inheritance and all these assets will be handed over to the one who finds the gold, right? So maybe Beatrice-sama is Father's legal advisor, or in charge of his funds.
Well, we can't possibly trust some strange person who entrusts such a suspicious paper to a child.
Aniki, we need you to be frank with us. Is it possible Dad's assets are being managed by someone you don't know? No, that's impossible. As the family head's representative, I control all of Father's assets. It should be impossible for anyone to do as they please with them without me knowing it.
So, this must mean there are some assets you don't control, right, Krasny-san?
How foolish! Such assets could not possibly exist.
Oh, but there is such a thing. An asset of Father's that you don't control. There is no way such a thing could exist.
No, it does. It's Father's... No, know Beatrice's hidden gold? Let's keep it simple. In short, Dad had some trusted confidant that Aniki doesn't even know about. Furthermore, this person has always been in charge of watching and managing the gold. Or it could be some eccentric rich person who offered him a loan with rules, like a devil's contract.
Could it be that this confidant called Beatrice is trying to test which of Kinzo's children is most worthy to be financed by her gold?
Kairi's question was one that all the siblings wanted answered. Upon reflection, they realized that Kinzo's strange epitaph had hung in the hall beneath the witch's portrait for quite some time, and while it had long been whispered that whoever solved the puzzle would receive everything, no one had ever clearly stated it. It was just something that everyone had hoped might be true. And right here, right now, the thing they'd hoped for had been clearly stated in Beatrice's letter. It clearly specified that everything on the Ushinomiya family would be given to the one who found the gold.
Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo-sama to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Beatrice the Golden.
Now, I'm really liking this music. I'm going to assume this is Kraus. Father, I know you can hear me. Please respond. The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over, like a percussion instrument. The yells coming from the other side belonged to Kraus, Rudolph, and sometimes Eva. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind the mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk. The fabulous dinner that had adorned the table down the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being pounded on and Kinzo's face.
Everyone is calling for you, but what should I do?
Leave them. God and my meals both hold silence as a virtue. Should I silence them? There's no need. It does not even reach my ears. Kinzo enjoyed his food, apparently indifferent. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Kanon, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind and to the side of Genji, opened his mouth.
Maria-sama apparently received a letter from Beatrice-sama, so I imagine they want to test its authenticity.
Ha ha ha. Has she started already then? Come, Beatrice. I have no shortage of coins to be wagered. Shall we enjoy this night to the fullest? I don't think I'll lose. Your smile will be mine for all eternity. If I could see it one more time, I wouldn't regret losing my wealth, my honor, or even my life. Well then, the roulette has begun to spin. Which pocket will the ball fall into? Noir? Rouge? Or house takes all? Come, you may begin, Beatrice. I'll show you the power of miracles once more! Dude, where the fuck is she? I'm starting to get why he's so obsessed with seeing her again. Where is she? Is this when the game becomes an actual game? God, I fucking hope so. The strange letter that the witch had entrusted to Maria wiped all memories of dinner from our minds. Maria was repeatedly barraged with questions by Aunt Rosa and the other parents, and became increasingly ill-tempered when they refused to believe her. If we kids tried to butt in, they'd probably ignore us. Our parents were all stirred up, firing back and forth about the gold and the distribution of the assets, and completely forgetting that we were even there. I'd already guessed that they'd been talking like this in the shadows, but I hadn't thought they'd be so blunt. It gave all of us kids a considerable shock. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. Yeah. It's just words. There's so many words. And sometimes sometimes those words are about sex. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. Back and forth about grandfather's inheritance. Back and forth about the distribution of the gold if it was found. About advance payments and cash. It was so despicable, I could hardly bear to watch, even though one of them was my father. It looked like Jessica felt the same way. We left our seats without being asked to, and went to hang out somewhere, well away from our parents.
I get it. Now I totally see why grandfather hates coming down for meals. I'm so disillusioned with our parents right now. All that about money and the inheritance. How can they act like that right out in the open?
Well, I'm already completely disillusioned with my old bastard. There's no way I could think any worse of him.
That's exactly the same for me. Still, that freaking shocked me. Shocked me to the core.
Jessica looked down at the floor, irritated. She was always talking about how bad her parents were, but maybe she hadn't really felt that way deep inside. The depths of Jessica's shock made that clear. You're all minors being supported by your parents, so you might not understand, but getting money is neither a simple nor a pretty thing. I won't try to force you to understand right now, since you're still kids. But even so, I want you to realize that your parents are just doing their best in their own way. Oh, great! George Aniki's gotten all mature.
George Nissan, I know you're working hard as a full-fledged member of society, but does that mean you turn into a shameless, greedy vulture like our parents whenever you start talking about money and assets?
If it were only for my own benefit, then no, I wouldn't want to do that. However, when your family and your employees, your subordinates, and their families are all counting on you, there are some times when you must fight. I hate that kind of fight. That back and forth about grandfather's inheritance just makes me want to puke. Jessica pretended to spit violently. That harsh reaction made the depths of her pain very clear. Let's stop talking about this. All this about grandfather's hidden gold, property, and inheritance is our parents' problem, not ours. I agree. At the very least, I think children have a duty to be considerate and stay out of their parents' way when they're talking together. I don't know. Sounds pretty boring. Everyone knows the phrase adults are filthy, but we had now seen that for ourselves, and they really did give us a considerable shock. I think later tonight I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to go on the swings. I think that'll be cool. George Aniki was now pretty much an adult, and I'd already been disillusioned with my dad, so the shock wasn't that big for us. But Jessica seemed to be taking it hard. Apparently, she received a bigger blow than I thought. She always talks badly about her parents, but it looks like she hadn't changed at all on the inside. Even now, she's still a pure-hearted, delicate person who can't doubt others. I'm sure she respected her parents as much as anyone else does. And then her parents started raging about, going, Money, money, inheritance, inheritance, my money! Right in front of all the other parents and children. It's no surprise she received such a shock from hearing that. Jessica-chan, please don't start hating your mother and father. I won't ask you to understand them, but at least don't hate them. I get it. Just leave me alone for a bit. 6 years ago, I would have kept taunting Jessica even after she got old. Oh wait, I just realized. Stretch. While they were like reading the letter, they were referring to Battler in the third person. But now we're back to Battler's point of view. Yeah. Real. I've applied for like a few different jobs in the past month, and neither of them responded. None of them responded. But I guess I really have grown over the last 6 years. I realized it'd be better to just leave Jessica alone right now. Jessica suddenly looked away sulkily and left the parlor. She probably wanted to be alone for a while. I could do nothing but wordlessly watch her back as she left. Come to think of it, I wonder where Maria-chan went. She's probably pouting in front of the portrait. Maria truly looked up to witches, and she'd expected that coming in direct contact with Beatrice and receiving the letter as proof would surprise everyone and make them happy. However, the adults had doubted his authenticity, thoroughly bombarding Maria with questions and refusing to accept her story. Even for me, it wasn't hard to imagine how much that must have hurt Maria. We couldn't speak to Maria or Jessica. In the end, George Aniki and I had just abandoned ourselves to the sound of the falling rain and the dark night. I wonder what's happening with that typhoon. Maybe there's something about it on the news. George Aniki started walking over to the corner of the parlor where the television was. He hadn't called me over, and I really couldn't have cared less where the typhoon was on the sea now. Without going over to the television, I loitered around the window. The wind hasn't picked up that much here, but I wonder if it's horrible over the sea. I did hear about a severe storm warning on the weather report. Ah, Kairi-san. I take it those big talks in between the adults are going smoothly, yeah? She seemed to catch the sarcasm. Kairi-san shrugged. I wonder if that stomachache of a discussion will continue all night. It's not going to be fun. Well then, please enjoy playing vultures to grandfather's property as much as you'd like. I feel sick. I'll agree with you on that. If I could just slip away like you, I'd do it. Unfortunately, I can't. Even if I'm not allowed to speak, we spouses have it pretty rough too. Kairi-san took a deep breath, smiling bitterly. That's right. They probably wouldn't let Kairi-san speak, since she only married into the family. Still, his dad's partner. She's had no choice but to stay by his side and support him. She's probably had to bear the full brunt of this mental pressure, much more than me. I wasn't going to apologize, but realizing that I had spoken too harshly, I cut the sarcasm for the time being. So how does it look? They still stuck on the topic of the mysterious witch, Beatrice? More or less. Those four siblings are always piling up secret agreements when they come together and discuss the division of grandfather's inheritance. They're saying that some unknown fifth person has appeared and is trying to make things even more complicated. There's no way that'll make for a peaceful conversation. Just when you think they're snarling at each other, they'll set up a common front. Natsuhine-san's not the only one getting headaches. On the one hand, they all want a larger portion than the other siblings, so they're all rivals. But on the other hand, they don't want 1 yen to be snatched up by anyone other than the siblings, so they're also all allies. I hadn't been told the details, but the siblings were apparently discussing how to protect their shares under various situations. setting up ceasefire agreements and rules to prevent anyone from getting an unfair advantage, even preparing to resort to legal action if absolutely necessary. That they would go this far to preserve their shares was so beyond disgusting that you just had to acknowledge their resilience. So basically, Beatrice is like an assassin sent by grandfather. He probably wanted to scare the hell out of his children for talking about the inheritance without him. Who is this Beatrice, I wonder? If everything she claims is true, then she's a mystery figure that no one knew about until today. And she also knows about grandfather's hidden gold. On top of that, she was even entrusted with the head's ring. She must truly have been trusted by him. Well, obviously I don't think she's a witch riding around in a broom. But there's no doubt she's a mysterious person who's earned the right to be called a witch. If only Maria-chan would go into more detail about that. For God's sake. Everyone's been smothering her, even though she's just a little girl. They really scared her. And some things they might have asked now can't be asked. I wonder if those people have ever even read the North Wind and the Sun. What we do know is that Maria received a letter from a person who took the name Beatrice. She sure is shy for a mystery person, entrusting Maria with a letter and hiding away even now, when she could have just appeared and talked to us directly. Hey, Butler-kun, do you really think a person called Beatrice actually exists? Oh my fucking... When does she show up? Where is the witch? Where is the witch? Where's the fucking witch? Who knows? Doesn't it really seem like a false name? Like she's grandfather's representative, so she was given permission to take the name of the witch from his delusions? No, that's not what I meant. Right now, there's a total of 18 people here in Rokkenjima. Do you think there's a 19th? I do! I do think there's a 19th person. I think it's Beatrice. Are there really a full 18 people on this island right now? Wondering about that, I began counting on my fingers, and it really did come out to that many. Do I think that a 19th person exists? What exactly do you mean? Just what I said. The person who lent Maria that umbrella supposedly wasn't one of us 18. So, isn't it natural to assume that a 19th person exists, and that this person lent Maria the umbrella? Well, yeah, it sure looks that way. Then, where exactly is this person now? At the very least, she must have been on this island when it started raining. And ever since that time, the weather has grown progressively worse, so taking a boat out would be pretty much impossible. In that case, that person must still be on the island, hiding from the rain somewhere. And without any of us spotting her. True, we've all been randomly prowling around all over the mansion, the guest house, but no one has bumped into a 19th person. But this island is huge. There might be other places to take shelter from the rain, other than the mansion and the guest house. At about this time, I began to realize what direction Kairi-san's suspicions were taking us in. Kairi-san was denying that a 19th person existed. Beatrice was one of us 18. In other words, she thought someone we knew well was tricking us. If Beatrice is who she claims, she would surely be the most honored of guests. The most honored of confidants, trusted by grandfather. There's no way grandfather wouldn't give that kind of person a warm reception. She would surely have been ushered into the mansion. However, we haven't seen anyone like that. Wait a sec. Isn't this line of reasoning a bit too hasty? Sure, no one spotted this person. That doesn't mean you can deny the possibility that a 19th person exists, right? Maybe, for some reason, they landed on the island stealthily and have been hiding ever since. It's what they call a devil's proof. It's easy to prove that something exists. If this Beatrice appears in front of us all and says hi, then it's settled. But it's impossible to prove there's no 19th person. Yes. Butler-kun, your way of reasoning isn't bad. In our current situation, there isn't enough information to either accept or deny that a 19th person exists.
But if you spin the chessboard around and think that way, we can deny the existence of a 19th person with near certainty.
Spin the chessboard around was one of Kairi-san's favorite phrases. I've been influenced by those words, and use them myself from time to time.
When you get stuck trying to find a move in chess or shogi, then by spinning the board around and looking at everything from your opponent's standpoint, you can often see a strategy that will give you the upper hand. It means turning things around and putting yourself in your opponent's shoes. You see? Let's say that a 19th person called Beatrice actually exists. That person must have managed, without being seen by anyone, to stealthily arrive on this island and remain hidden ever since. Maybe they had some reason, okay? In that case, why did they go to all the trouble of appearing before Maria and handing her the letter? It really was a contradiction. If they had some reason for hiding themselves, then they should have stayed hidden the whole time. But even so, they had appeared openly in front of Maria. Then, wait, Maria said it herself. She said the witch made her a messenger. Maybe that's because Maria was the youngest and looked the most obedient. Why would they need a messenger? If they just wanted a letter delivered to the family conference, they could have mailed it. If they mailed it to each of the 4 siblings, no one would be able to ignore it. There was no need for this person to carry it themselves and secretly deliver it by hand.
Yeah, it does sound suspicious. I think that's what he said. I accidentally clicked a little too fast.
In the first place, if Beatrice existed and wanted to make her presence known to everyone, then she could have just openly presented herself to all of us. Despite that, she chose the vague method of appearing through a little girl called Maria-chan, and only gave us a vague impression of who she was. Contradiction. Let's go a little deeper, shall we? She appeared in front of Maria, trying to give us the impression that a 19th person existed, and yet, she still hasn't appeared before us and is hiding somewhere at this very moment. Think about those contradictions. You've got to keep these things in mind when you spin the chessboard around.
My fucking back hurts. And my throat. Man. It's been a little while since anyways. You know, it's been a little Yeah, it's been a little while since it's been a little while since we've spoken, so I'm just gonna say I'm gonna give a hot take. Rudolph is kind of attractive. There, I said it.
In short, if a person wants to leave us with the impression that Beatrice exists as a 19th person, what might their goal be? If this person wanted to hide, then they wouldn't have made their presence known. And if they wanted to show themselves, they wouldn't have used the roundabout approach of entrusting someone with a letter. Which means, it's simple. Beatrice is one of the 18 people. That's why they want to create the illusion that there are more than 18 people. The 19th person was revealed so spectacularly. If someone were to profit from this, it wouldn't be some 19th person in hiding. It'd be one of the original 18 people. Of course, this reasoning is full of holes. If you turn over even a few of its premises, it'll simply fall apart. But I'm almost completely certain that it's correct.
This is starting to feel pretty creepy. Someone lent Maria the umbrella and handed her the letter. Supposedly, none of the 18 did this. And yet, Beatrice was hidden among those 18. It's like it's almost as if it's almost like there's almost like it's, a, it's almost like there's it's almost like there's an imposter among us. What was this person planning? Hiding their true form and pretending to be Beatrice? I suspected it might have been Maria-chan placating, but the contents of the message were extremely complicated, and it's hard to imagine Maria-chan writing that herself. However, I can't deny the possibility that Maria-chan is working together with someone. Wait a sec. Maria's a 9-year-old kid, right? What could she possibly be planning, and with whom? And what about her straightforward, overly honest, obedient nature? Yes, I also understand what kind of a person Maria-chan is, but that's exactly why I think it's possible. That girl's a dreamer who can't help but look up to and blindly accept the existence of witches. So if a person appeared in front of her and claimed to be the witch Beatrice, Maria-chan would happily swallow it up, I think. So you're saying that if someone disguised themselves by wearing that fancy dress from the portrait, tricking Maria wouldn't be that hard? Of course. With that reasoning, all of us women would become the primary suspects. Anyway, who did Maria-chan encounter? Learning the details of that question would be the best key to solving this riddle. But this key has been firmly locked away inside Maria-chan's heart. Everyone denied the existence of the witch without listening to her, barraging her too much with questions about who Beatrice actually was. She probably won't open her heart to the adults now. In the dim hall, in front of the portrait of Beatrice, Maria was sobbing.
No one believes I met Beatrice. Even though I showed them the letter Beatrice gave me, they still don't believe.
Anyway, Maria-chan's holding the key. The key to whether Beatrice is one of the 18 people or a 19th person. Maria's stubborn, right? When that girl gets angry, it's pretty hard to make her feel better. Battler-kun, I think a kid like you would be better at cheering her up than an adult like me. After she's feeling better, try asking. I know you don't care about all this back and forth about the inheritance, but don't you find this Western Mansion's mystery situation exciting? Who in the world is this person who gave Maria-chan the letter? It makes your intellectual curiosity ache. You're actually pretty tough, considering that you're still excited after being dragged through that endless money talk. I know it's going to be pretty amazing. I shrugged exasperatedly. But I did notice something. Kyrie noticed how dejected I was after hearing our parents' turbulent discussion, and was probably trying to clear the air. At the very least, I'd recovered enough to voice my complaints. She was my real mother, so I've never felt like calling her mom. But it did make me think she's a real adult. Hey, brats! So this is where you were. Kyrie, you really took your time fixing your makeup, didn't you? Think I'll make a habit of going out to touch up my makeup, too. I'm sorry. A woman's makeup takes a long time. So, how has the discussion been without me? I'm sure everything was all peaceful and harmonious. Kyrie-san poked the weak spot under my arm with her elbow. We decided to take a break to cool our heads a little. It looks like we'll be at it all night. Makes me want to cry. His way of talking hadn't changed, but he couldn't completely hide his fatigue. I couldn't say I was sympathetic, but he looked pitiful compared to his normal, energetic self. Still, that rain's just awful. I really don't want to go back to the guest house. It looks like Natsuhine-san set things up so he could spend the night here in the mansion. What do we do? We don't need to decide until you're done, right? If you run so low on energy that you can't return to our room, then we can take them up on their offer. You're right. We can think about it later. What about you, Battler?
If I stayed, I'd just get in the way. I'll be nice and go back over there.
I see. Will you go back soon?
I don't know. It'd be lonely to head back by myself. I'll gather all the kids and we'll head out.
Okay. You go do that. Also, Battler, you won't be going to sleep that easily tonight, right?
Yeah, I'll probably be up talking with the cousins. Sounds like we'll be up all night. Is there a problem with that?
I see. You're still awake when the adults' discussion is over. I want to have a little talk as a family.
A what? That doesn't sound like you. Apparently, Kairi-san was thinking the same thing. What are you talking about? Oh, what are you talking about? She asked him in a small voice. It looked like Kairi-san didn't have a clue what Dad meant either.
I also want to talk to you about it, Kairi. I'll tell you later, so don't ask now. Please.
I don't know anyone who neglects the concept of family as much as this old bastard. And now he's saying we're gonna have a talk as a family. Both Kairi-san and I couldn't help but get wide-eyed.
Don't look so terrified. I'm the one who should be terrified. After all.
At that point, he swallowed his words for an instant. Even though putting on airs of importance wasn't much like my dad. You're freaking me out, Dad. Everyone in our family's gathered here now, right? Don't make a big deal out of it and spit it out. Oh, don't make a big deal out of it and spit it out.
Tonight, I will probably be killed.
There was a huge crash of thunder. It must have been really close. Dad's expression, brightly illuminated by the lighting, was burned into my eyes. Dad's face, which always looked so sure of itself, and which always wore a taunting expression, was strangely frail in a way I couldn't really explain. It was so worn out that he looked like a different person. What? What are you talking about? That doesn't sound like you. I agree. What happened? You look so timid all of a sudden. It's not like you.
I'm gonna go fix my makeup too. Don't follow me.
Dad turned away, weakly. After that, only Kairi and I were left, still wide-eyed. What did he say? Tonight he'll be killed? You don't think that mysterious letter scared him, did you? He's been watching too many serial murder movies. Kairi-san didn't answer my light-hearted words, and continued to stare at my dad's disappearing back. Battler-kun, when you told Rudolph-san to spill the beans right away, he left without telling us anything.
Yeah. Real. She went like... She's just up in the sky, like, clashing cymbals together for, you know... For... Just to set the mood, you know? She's up there in the sky.
Even though he had something to say to both of us, he didn't answer you. Why? Spin the chessboard around. What do you see? Well, when he said he wanted to talk but then couldn't, that's a contradiction. What, can you see something by looking from Dad's perspective? Yes, I can see something. He wants to talk about something. However, he doesn't have the courage to bring it up. So, he actually means, chase after me, talk to me, and ask me about it yourself. By saying, don't follow me, he actually means the opposite. He actually means, follow me and force me to answer. Seriously, what a spoiled brat.
What?
Can you really call that reasoning? That's ridiculous. Can great private and police police detectives deduce the emotions and feelings between men and women? They can't, right? Figuring out the feelings of the opposite sex is even more advanced art than exposing the tricks in difficult crime cases.
Can you not say things like that?
If you ask me, romance novels have much deeper mysteries than masterpiece mystery novels.
I see. Is that how it is?
I'll stand alongside that spoiled brat. He normally loves to bluff, but tonight he's completely tired out from that heated discussion. He probably wants someone to lean on at the moment. And responding to that need is the role of his partner.
Ha. Sounds passionate. Then I'll leave that old bastard in your hands.
Yes, leave it to me.
I called out to Kairi-san's departing back.
Huh? What?
I wanted to say thanks. Thanks to you, my gloomy mood has cleared up a lot.
That's good. Communication is important.
After answering with a wink, Kairi-san followed after Dad. Natsuhi could be found in a dimly lit hallway. Now and then, thunder would crash, but this had no effect on Natsuhi's expression. She looked completely worn out. The discussion that had just taken place between the relatives in the dining hall was repeating itself inside Natsuhi's mind. Beatrice had proclaimed that in addition to the gold, all of the inheritance and property of the Yoshinomiya family would be given to the person who could solve the riddle. In other words, she planned to undermine the absolute guarantee that Kraus, the oldest brother, had to succeed the family head. Originally, the other siblings had absolutely no chance to inherit the headship. To them, this proposal by Beatrice was extremely desirable. It was obvious that they would accept it. There was no need to play some clumsy detective game. Natsuhi knew that the so-called 19th person, Beatrice, couldn't exist. Naturally, Beatrice was nothing more than a fictional character used to pass a message that Kinzo had written himself. As proof, Kinzo had remained stubbornly neutral as to that letter's authenticity. He was completely ignoring these reckless claims that he shouldn't be able to ignore, that he had given up the head's ring. In short, Kinzo had wordlessly admitted that the letter held his own message. Most likely, one of the servants had given Maria the letter. Kinzo had probably worked out an elaborate plan where the dress for that portrait would be prepared, and someone, probably Shannon, would be made to wear it and deliver the letter and the umbrella. By doing that, he could make it seem like the witch from the portrait had actually existed. No, if anything, that alone was proof that Kinzo was behind all this. In that case, if it was the same as Kinzo trying to butt in on the siblings' private discussion. Then Kinzo, by announcing that he'd give everything to the person who solved the riddle, could weaken Kraus's overwhelming advantage. Now it was certain. Kinzo had eavesdropped on the siblings' discussion in the parlor earlier that day. So he had known how Kraus had staved off the attack by the other three. And to make the scales of the battle go back into balance, he had sent out this strange letter, which benefited Kraus's rivals. He was trying to push this crazy theory that Rosa, who had a weak position among the siblings because of her age, would join with Eva and Rudolph. Then, with a 3-to-1 advantage, they'd be able to overwhelm Kraus yet again and make their ridiculous theories get accepted by force. And by doing that, he gave them the power to resettle what had once been a nearly decided conflict. They had now started repeatedly pressing Kraus to pay them a large amount of money, using the condition that all of the siblings would guarantee Kraus's position as a successor. Talk about advance payments was being brought up again, despite having been rejected once. Of course, even without the story about the hidden gold, the Ushinomiya family's store of wealth was vast. That store of wealth alone was more than enough. Even if the hidden gold was buried forever along with Kinzo's death, that'd be more than enough to satisfy. God. Man, my vocal cords feel like they're tied in a fucking knot. I might have to end stream soon. Therefore, even if they weren't that interested in the gold itself, Kinzo had managed to instill the lifelong fear that, on the off chance that someone found the gold, that person would be granted the headship. And this kind of Achilles heel would definitely be taken advantage of by someone sooner or later. The only person with this fatal weakness was the successor, Kraus. The other siblings had found... No, they had been told by Kinzo about something that only Kraus could lose, and they had thoroughly taken advantage of that. Natsuhi, as Kraus's only ally in his painful position and as his wife, wanted to fight alongside him. She kept trying to explain to him that the existence of the gold itself was a farce, and that there was no need for him to compromise. Kraus had always told Natsuhi. He had told all the siblings. He always said that the hidden gold was nothing more than an illusion created by Kinzo. Therefore, Natsuhi had believed it as his wife, and supported her husband on that foundation. Even so, Natsuhi's words didn't reach Kraus. Even though Natsuhi had fought so hard and had lent all of her strength, he continued to fight by himself and was trying to compromise with the other three siblings. Natsuhi sadly and weakly wondered why she could not be of use to him, and started getting angry. It had happened when everyone decided to take a short break to cool their heads. Natsuhi had flared up against Kraus. Enraged, she had asked why she could not be useful to him. He had then told her that he wanted to talk about something, and invited her into a room that she was normally not allowed to enter. That room had been sealed with a heavy-looking padlock, and just looking at it had given her an uncomfortable feeling. Oh shit, wait. Didn't that epitaph say something about, like, on the first night or the second night or something, like, on the first or second night or something, the two who were close would be torn apart? Is that what this is referring to? Do you think Kraus is gonna kill Natsuhi?
There's no need for you to worry about anything said by those three, or even a suspicious person who calls herself Beatrice. After all, the gold is just a ruse created by Father. There's no way something like that could be found. Your position as the successor is a solid fact. What are you afraid of?
Kraus removed the padlock on the door. He then motioned for Natsuhi to enter. Enter.
What is this?
There's something I want you to see. I've never shown you this before. Natsuhi timidly opened the door with a dubious expression on her face. It was pitch black. She searched for a switch to turn on the lights, but since this was her first time in the room, she didn't know where it was. Kraus entered behind her, pushing her in, and when he closed the door before turning on the lights, the two were swallowed up by the darkness. Only the sound of Kraus locking the door rang out through the dark.
What are you doing? The lights!
I am turning them on now. Wait. Just as he said, when Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, a flickering light turned on and lit up the room.
That is...
Natsuhi had her breath taken away. The room had no windows. At a glance, it appeared to be... He's gonna fucking kill her! He's gonna kill his wife! In the middle of the room, a small round table had been set, and the lights brightened only that table, as if it were the leading part in a play. On top of the table, a red tablecloth of elaborate design had been set out, covered with dust, and on top of that, something about the size of a grown man's arm had been set down. That something took Natsuhi's breath away. Yeah, fucking... Yeah, I got a license for this knife, yeah! It's a gold ingot of incredible purity. Without this, no one would have believed in the legend of the gold.
It was an ingot of solid gold. Even in the faint light, it sparkled with a noble and dignified glint.
This is not a proper ingot. I don't even know whether it was cast inside or outside the country. It took a high level of skill to make the purest of solid gold ingots. And in order to verify that purity, it was standard to have the original foundry and the name of the bank that guarantee it imprinted on the gold. However, this ingot did not have that kind of seal. No more, wife. No more. However, this ingot did not have that kind of seal. This mysterious gold bar had come from an unknown foundry. Look here. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a bar of gold. Natsuhi, following Krause's words, timidly approached the ingot. Right there. Krause pointed at the surface of the ingot. Natsuhi concentrated on that section. Right there was the thin imprint of the one-winged eagle crest. Natsuhi's breath was taken away once again. That's right. This is the legendary ingot that Father said he received from the witch, that the president of Maruso witnessed and was allowed to select at random to take back with him, that gained the trust of the fixers in the business world. I had to use all possible means to find it. I found it before the other siblings could.
How could? Then, the legend of Father's gold is...
It actually exists. The gold that Ushiromi Akinzo received from Beatrice actually exists.
Impossible! So, it really does exist.
Natsuhi was shocked. Krause had always said that Kinzo's gold was just a fabrication. So she had believed it as his wife. However, the reality was different. Since he held definite proof, he had been more certain than any of the other siblings that the legend of the gold was true. Because of this, Krause was deeply frightened at the possibility that someone other than himself would find the gold he'd failed to find, costing him everything. But to Natsuhi, this truth was more than enough to split open her heart. She had thought that, as Krause's wife, she should be his closest confidant, which is why she had selflessly supported him. And yet, he had hid this fact from her until today. Why?
Have I been so undeserving of your trust?
That has never been my intention. There was simply no need to tell you.
Is that all a wife means to you?
Calm down. Becoming passionate easily is one of your bad habits.
You're the one who's making me like that, aren't you? I've been supporting you as a wife ever since I married into this family. For your sake, I threw away the family I was born into. I've been offering up my heart and body to serve you. And in return, this is what I get? How could you?
Krause grimaced, looking annoyed. His expression effectively communicated how much he disliked this part of Natsuhi, even if he didn't say it out loud.
It doesn't look like I'll be of any use to you anymore.
That's fine. I can resolve the troubles with the siblings by myself. I don't need your help.
That's wrong! This should all be a family's problem. It's true that I'm not permitted to wear the family crest on my body, but I am still your wife!
wouldn't want to risk getting you involved. It would probably make your headaches even worse than they are now. Take a rest for today. The siblings will deal with the siblings' problems. It has nothing to do with you. That is all. Dull headache tormented Natsuhi. No matter what medicine she took, no matter what scent she burned, it wouldn't heal. In fact, simply wandering alone through the dark corridors and listening to the sound of rain seemed to be a better cure. I may be not. Oh wait, are we? Is this Natsuhi's point of view or something? I may be Natsuhi, but I was never Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I have been despised and treated as a borrowed womb, and insulted when I couldn't even fulfill that role. Even so, I have tried to properly perform my duties as a wife, but now, even my husband has rejected me. I've done my best raising my daughter as if it were the last job left to me. However, I've had no releases for my anger and sadness. They've caused me to subconsciously strain that relationship too. Because I've been excessively strict in Jessica's education, she dislikes me thoroughly. She despises me for having no interest in anything but grades. There is no longer anything I can do for the Ushinomiya family. No, that's no good. Despite it all, I must help my husband and beat back the schemes of the other greedy siblings. The family head won't be around much longer. Eventually, Kraus will succeed the head. And the next successor will be Jessica. Strictly speaking, the man who enters the family by marrying Jessica will become the next head, but it all comes to the same thing. I have to make Jessica an excellent successor, whom everyone will accept as worthy to take over the Ushinomiya family. In the days to come, that greedy Ushinomiya Eva will probably be plotting to find some fault with the main family. And if all goes as she plans, Jessica will be dragged down from the succession, with George set up in her place. It is regrettable, but George is a man, and even more, has matured as a person. Compared to Jessica, who is right in the middle of her rebellious period, and whose grades are slightly below average, it can be seen at a glance who is more fit to succeed the head. So in order to secure Jessica's position, I need to turn her into an excellent person. After doing that, I want to find her an excellent husband, worthy of the excellent person she will have become. A wonderful man who will truly accept Jessica, and stay with her through all of life's joys and sorrows. Was Natsuhi trying to entrust her daughter with fulfilling some desire of her own? Natsuhi thought back to the days when she had no choice but to marry into the Ushinomiya family, because of that unavoidable fate. She had tried to block that from her memory. She had consciously forgotten it, and had actively attended to the life she'd been given as Ushinomiya Natsuhi. You know, since we're like switching like points of view in the game. Since it's switching points of view in the game, whose point of view was it back when they were referring to Battler in the third person? Maybe it was Beatrice. There's paper on my desk. Phone? Like... Whose phone? What? What? Huh? I don't know. And in so doing, she had built up a new life. But, just now, it felt like all of that had been casually rejected. How should I think as I live my life? I do not know. Natsuhi helplessly rested her head against the glass at the window. The glass, which was cool thanks to the raindrops beating against it, felt somehow refreshing, even though it should have been emotionless. Right then, it seemed to be the only thing that could understand Natsuhi. At that point, even if someone had appeared, Natsuhi didn't intend to pay any attention to them. But she did pay attention, because it was her beloved daughter. I think I'm gonna wrap up now. Yeah, I think... yeah. I think I'm gonna wrap up here. Me when man door hand hook car door. Yeah. What does it mean at the end of the day? What the... fuck, I don't know. The fucking, yeah, I don't know. But, I don't know, I think I'm gonna wrap up stream. So, thank you to everyone who showed up. I hope you all had a good time, because I know that I did. And I hope to see you all again soon. Bye.